All
Does he
right, you
bark
guys
a
ready to
lot?
do this? No, he doesn't.
Yeah.
He really doesn't. But when he sees cats outside, and then he
Ooh.
like chases after him, like gets him up into a tree, and then he just stands at the bottom of the tree and barks.
Is he pretty fast?
He's super fast. Yeah,
Yeah, let's say if you let
like
him
when
open
he's on the
sprint.
leash and he's chasing after something, I'm like at a pretty good run, and he's running too.
Does he ever like choke himself running after things?
Yes, we had to get him a harness.
Oh yeah, no,
Yeah,
Leo has.
we're gonna
even
have to
Leo
do
does that. Leo's got a harness because he just chokes himself. I'm like, dude, you're 7 pounds, but you're just like strangling yourself.
Right.
Yeah, we're
All
gonna have
right.
to get one of
We
those.
can talk about dogs after we do the podcast.
Yeah,
That is true. Just
Okay.
getting into it.
All right.
bad radio.
5,
Is this going to
4,
release on Friday? Are we going to wait a
3,
whole week on this?
You
2.
can just send it out whenever.
one.
Whenever you want to do it.
Okay, 5, 4,
Perfect.
2.
All right. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Rebuilding Year podcast, season 4, January episode. I don't know if we've done an episode in January.
I think we have one. I think
We
So
have
this
one.
is the-
It's episode 18 total.
January 2.
Episode 18. We did like 30 episodes last year. Hold
Maybe
on,
that
my
was
phone
too much.
going off. I think that was too much. So, yeah, we're talking about Purdue basketball today, whether or not they are back. They just notched a huge win over Michigan State this afternoon, in addition to beating Ohio State, Purdue. What the? Why is my phone making noise? Where's that coming from?
I hear nothing.
Purdue, they beat Ohio State, Indiana, Rutgers, and Wisconsin in addition to Michigan State. So they're on a pretty good roll. But before we talk about that, as always, this episode of The Rebuilding Year is brought to you by MyBookie.com. Log on to MyBookie.com. Use promo code YEAR25. What do we got coming up this week? We got the Super Bowl. What's the line? What are we looking at?
Chris?
Patriots minus like 2 or 3.
Patriots minus
Chris?
2 or 3?
I could be lying.
I'm saying take the Pats on that one. I think the Pats are going to beat the Rams. So you can bet on anything for the Super Bowl. They're going to have all the prop bets, the national anthem, whether or not people get hurt, whether or not Trump tweets during the game, I'm sure. So use promo code YEAR25. You get direct match on your first deposit up to $1,000. And then you also just get a free $25. It's a free $1,025 just for using promo code YEAR25 on mybookie.com. They pay out winners, play, bet, win, mybookie.com. Go to the site. Let's start the show. All right. So, again, as we said, Purdue just notched a big win against Michigan State today, number 6 team in the nation at Mackey. They've also beaten Ohio State, Indiana, Rutgers, and Wisconsin on the trot. Six game winning streak, or is that 5?
I think it's 5.
I think that's a
It's
5-game.
but, like it's also like 8 or 9.
Yeah.
5 and 8 of 9. So they're in good form, as you might say, across the pond. We've sort of been phrasing this whole basketball season when we talk about it in, is this team going to make the tournament? Ryan, you were at the game today. Do you think this is a tournament team? Yes, no, why not?
I mean, yeah, definitely. As of right now, you look at brackets, and I've seen this as high as a 3 seed. So it would take a pretty dramatic fall here the last month and a half to not make the tournament. But the metrics love us. We're like top 7 in KenPom. We're like 10 in the net. We're like 12 in Sagarin. Our offense is, ranked like I think top 6 in the country as well. So a lot of early season losses, but all to good teams, and those don't really hurt you in the rankings and the metrics. Just AP poll, which that's the one everybody cares about. But honestly, that's like the least important one. But we'll make the tournament. I think we'll come back down to earth a little bit. We'll probably end up being that 4 or 5 seed. And I think as of right now, this team is safely in the tournament.
Do you think there's a Sweet 16 loss in our future?
We're not making the Elite Eight, if that's what you're asking me. So possibly.
Well, I didn't even know that there was games after the Sweet 16. I thought that's just when the tournament ended.
Yeah, this has been
When you
it.
stop paying attention.
You
Yeah.
find all the okay teams.
Yeah.
That's the goal.
Chris, what do you think? Is Purdue, I guess they probably are going to be a tournament team, so that's probably not the right question to ask. I don't know. What are your thoughts on this Purdue team right now? I guess is what I'm going for.
I mean, I'm confused a little bit by the team because other than Carson, who's just been great all the time and been on, which is what he does. Like Klein, Eifert, Trevion Williams, Harms, they've all had on and off games. I guess they've been on more than they've been off, but you see Trevion Williams out there, and he's making some bad decisions. Harmer's made a couple bad decisions. No Joe Eastern, who maybe we were wrong about the free throws because that was pretty great today, but I mean, all those guys are hit or miss, and when it comes to tournament time, you're most likely going to see them miss. So if Ryan's right with their 5 seed, I could see them losing to a 13 seed.
Yep.
Pretty handily, and that's kind of what I think this team's going to be at. So
yeah, I could easily see this team being a trendy, drawing somebody like, who knows, Loyola or something like that, and being a real trendy, upset pick in that first round. Pete, what are your thoughts on the Boilers?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think they're, unless they just implode down the stretch here, I think top 5 seed is reasonable. But yeah, I mean, if honestly, like the last 4 or 5 games, like Carson hasn't even really played that well. I mean, the rest of the team has played very well, and I mean, he's helped them out. But I mean, his shooting's been like, I think he's got to be like maybe 35% at most over the last like 3 or 4 games. So I mean, if he just can, I mean, in the tournament, if everyone's playing like they are right now, and he just finds his stroke, I mean, I think they could almost beat pretty much anybody after looking at it today. I mean, the defense is looking much better. Rebounding's been good, and like the freshmen and redshirt freshmen are actually not terrible. So it's looking like the team might not be as bad as we thought for that first 2 months or so of the season. So yeah, I mean, I think I think it. I mean, obviously it depends on matchups, and this team could also lose to anybody. But I mean, I think if like the way everyone's playing right now, if Carson has a better, more efficient shooting game, I think they can easily make like a Sweet 16 the way everybody's playing at this point, at least.
Yeah, I do think that when they get to the tournament, sort of like, I feel like it's just all going to be on Carson. It's just going to be however far Carson can take them, like sort of like a Steph Curry, Davidson kind of thing. Like however far Carson can go, that's how far they're going to go. But the idea is definitely going to be to, just shut down Carson and try to make the rest of the team beat you. Who knows? Again, like Peter said, it's all about matchups. They probably won't get, I don't know, a super favorable matchup, but we can start worrying about that when it gets closer. Here's what they got coming up. Penn State, who's terrible. Minnesota, Nebraska, Maryland, those are all pretty good teams. That's their next 4 games. That takes them to the middle of February when they get to play Penn State again. Realistically, Rye, what do you see them going over those next 4 games? We got Penn State again on Thursday, then Minnesota at home, Nebraska at home, and then Maryland on the road.
So we are going to, I looked it up a little bit ago. We'll be heavy favorites in the first 3 games. Penn State's garbage. Minnesota's Nebraska just lost like their best player for the year. Mm-hmm. So they're going to definitely struggle without him. So the next 3 games, they should definitely win all 3. They'll probably drop the one to Maryland, realistically. But I mean, they should go 4. They should go 3-1 and down the next 4. I mean, anything less than that would be disappointment. I
mean, the rest of their schedule, we'll get to you guys. The rest of the schedule is pretty easy.
I talked about today, and it's Illinois, Northwestern, and Minnesota. There's no more Michigan States. There's no more of the big dogs up there. It's a lot of teams.
Toughest game's that road game at Maryland.
Yeah, the away game at Maryland.
Yeah, and that's it. After that, I think they'll be the betting favorites in all those games besides Maryland.
At Indiana, always a tough game.
They'll be a tough one. They'll be the betting favorite, and it won't be a good loss in the computers because they don't, adjust for, the rivalry games that are always closer than they should be.
Where you throw record books out the window? Is that what you're saying?
More or less. You could say that. But they should be huge favorites in the remaining games besides Maryland. So, I mean, they won't finish the year on a 1 loss, but, I mean, they should.
I mean, if they finish the year on a 1 loss, that would be, 20, 30-7, something like that?
That means Ryan's paying me some money. That's what that means.
How much was that bet, by the way?
What is your bet? What is your bet?
Ryan didn't think that the Boilers would get 20 wins this year.
Wow.
After we lost like 5 out of 6, it wasn't looking great. I think we all could say that was
no, because I think the Big Ten was super overhyped going into the start of the year. It's going to be like the Big Ten's going to be the best. It's going to be all these
10
really
teams in the tournament,
tough teams, and it's really Michigan State,
And then Purdue on the second tier.
And then Purdue, Iowa, on the
Maryland.
second tier,
Yeah,
Wisconsin.
the same as it always is.
Yeah, the same as it always is. Chris, what do you think is going to happen over these next 4 games?
You know, Ryan really slept on that at Penn State game. We got a lot of young guys on this team, and they're going to be going to a empty arena.
Toughest place to play in the Big
arena.
Ten.
It might be. So I think that there's a real big shot
The
that
Bryce Jordan
loses
Center?
at Penn State, and then we'll drop. So they'll drop to 2 next road games against them in Maryland.
Oh, that's
So
Penn State's
Bryce
pretty
Jordan
awful.
Mausoleum.
yeah,
All right, Chris
With
has
the
them losing
they
at
don't know
Penn
what to
State.
do.
Peter, what do you got?
And if it was Penn State last year, I would say yes. But Penn State's lost like 9 of their last 10.
Penn State's bad.
Although they did beat the University of Maryland, Baltimore College or whatever it is that took out Virginia last year.
UMBC, the
So,
Retrievers.
The Retrievers.
so is Penn State better than last year's Virginia team? I don't know.
You can say that.
Are they
but-
better than this year's Virginia team?
Tough
Never
to
know.
say.
They haven't
Don't know.
played.
Don't know until they play. But yeah, I mean, I kind of agree with Ryan. Anything less than 3 wins here would probably be just disappointing over the next couple weeks. But yeah, I mean, I think they've got a chance in that Maryland game. It's
The
obviously-
FPI or whatever it's called, the BPI has it at a 50-50.
Yeah,
Okay.
so I mean, I think it's going to be a close game, and yeah, like you said, Steve, I think again, all these games against good teams are really going to come down to how Carson does, and you know, if the other guys aren't on their game and he doesn't score 25 points, we're going to lose. So that's just how this team's going to go. But
Yeah, I mean, they played a pretty perfect game today. Michigan State's probably the best team that they're going to play outside of just regular old Michigan. But, you know, I mean, Klein, you have to have this kind of stuff. You got to have Klein with 17, Eastern with 12, Wheeler and Harms both contributing. Grady Eifert, you know, here's a great stat line. 24 minutes, 0 for 2 on field goals. Both of them are 3-pointers. 2 rebounds, 2 assists, 0 points.
3 steals though,
3 steals.
Yeah,
and those dives on the floor.
Yeah.
he had a good game. Like, he didn't score a minute, do much, but he did play good defense, which is all you can ask from him. He did his job on offense. He knows his role, and he filled it well.
That's
Yeah,
true.
Trevion
nice
sort of had a
to get-
disappointing game, although he
yeah.
did have 6 boards.
He doesn't match. I mean, Trevion just doesn't match up well with Michigan State. I think.
I
too.
was
mean, with
telling-
the experienced like big guys, like that's
He
not going to go
was-
well for him.
He's like a poor man's Nick Ward, and, like, he's just not going to win. That's a terrible matchup for Trevion Williams. It's like,
Yeah.
he's what we want Nick Ward to be in 2 years, but he's still just a little too fat, a little too slow, and not enough experience yet. But, yeah, that was a bad matchup from the get-go. Carson played like shit, honestly. I think he was 5 and 19,
4 of 19.
or
Yeah,
even worse.
and yeah, just Trevion. I mean, I'd like to see more points out of him. But Pete, was this the no gel? Was this his coming out party?
I
had a
think it
double-double.
might have been at the very least that free throw line. Man, 8 of 10, hit like 6 straight there at the end to
Ugh.
really ice the game. I mean, Ryan thinks it's an ugly free throw motion, but
Oh, it is. I don't think it is.
Like-
it is.
hey,
Does the ball go in the
said-
hole though?
It goes
people
in.
said the same thing about Rick Barry, the NBA all-time leading free throw shooter.
All right, well, that's
So,
not what no gel is going to be.
He, so
I'm
because
just saying.
Shooting 50% on the year, so that's not
He
that.
went to the
Well,
he went
it's
to the
going to be
rookie
higher now that
combine
he went
last
8
year.
for 10.
dude, they fouled him with 3 minutes left. The crowd was going nuts that it was fouling Winston. I was like, they're fouling him intentionally, and he made 2. And the next possession did the exact same thing, and the crowd got real quiet because that's when they realized, oh shit, they're like intentionally fouling Eastern. I'm like,
Yeah,
they have to pull him out.
Twitter hated that, and he's like, but that's a good coaching decision. It's like,
Yeah,
hey,
that's
it's like Hack-a-Shack.
But,
Wait, why did
honestly-
they hate it? Was it like
oh,
this is
because it's
unsportsmanlike?
Like, you got to let the boys play. You can't be
Oh.
fouling.
Because it's boring. But, like that's what Kansas did to Memphis all those years ago and won a national title because Memphis.
That's just
couldn't shoot free
basketball.
throws. But,
Yeah,
Every important
was-
game of basketball works like that.
I didn't think we would lose the game, but I immediately was like, oh, wow, they got to pull him out immediately and just put Eric Hunter in there or somebody else because he can't make free throws. And he ended up
And-
making
and
all
you
6 down
were-
the stretch.
Yeah, you were wrong.
I was
can't-
happy to be
but-
wrong.
He can also handle the ball though, so you know.
Oh, yeah, it was great. It worked out well. No, Gel played great. It was I have a lot of takes on the game, but whatever. We won. I don't care.
Keep going with your takes.
Yeah, let's
Keep
hear it.
That's
firing
the whole
away.
point of
What,
this is to
takes?
have takes.
Mujel played great, honestly. Carson played terrible, and I really watched his one-on-one matchup with McQuaid. McQuaid played fantastic defense. I mean, he didn't give Carson any space, always a hand in his face. I think they showed a stat where he's like 9 of 33 on McQuaid this year. Like, McQuaid honestly locks him down. But he
he's
played
played
great.
bad against Michigan State this year.
But, I mean, if Wheeler can consistently knock down that 3-ball also, I mean, he's going to be an absolute stud come his senior year. But
Love it.
it's
3 years.
I also-
Hell yeah.
And then I love, though, the flexibility we have with the 4 or 5. You know, we can throw out Grady or Wheeler, and then at the 5, you can throw out Williams and Harms. I think today
Is putting Grady Eifert in the game count as flexibility?
it's a different look. It can give Wheeler some rest. So
I mean, I know you have to have 5 guys on the court. Actually, has anybody ever tried that? Can we just
putting
play with 4 guys on the court?
That Alabama game last year where they
Alabama
almost
had
won
3.
with 3
Oh,
players.
yeah, right. Where they all got what happened? They all got into a fight.
So there was a fight and like 2 got kicked out. I think they all stepped on the court, and usually they kind of let that stuff slide, but no, the ref just threw them all out. And they were playing 3-on-5, and it was this Colin Sexton throwing
Colin
shots.
Sexton almost single-handedly
And they almost beat Minnesota.
Yeah.
But and then having the flexibility of 5 too, you know, if we didn't have Harms today, Williams would have got 8 up down there. They did a really, really good job doubling Nick Ward because whenever he touched the ball, he had 2 guys on him. And I actually would say that I think Matt Painter actually did a good job coaching tonight.
I would agree with that.
Yeah.
That's going to be a point I made with. Well, he constantly like kept rotating Eastern and Hunter and I guess Carson wasn't really ever on Cassius Winston, but he kept rotating a guy on Cassius Winston who was always like fresh off the bench, which I think definitely helped. Obviously, he got going at the end, but I mean, he's like one of the best point guards in the country. You're not
He's
just
like an
going to
All-American
shut him
this year.
down.
The one thing that reminded me of is that similar how we were talking to how the game plan on Purdue in the tournament's going to be shut down Carson Edwards. You have a good shot at beating Purdue. Purdue's been pretty good at shutting down star players this year. I mean, certainly over the last couple games, they shut down Cassius Winston and, I mean, Romeo Langford had an awful game.
He just laid an egg. Like he had like 4 points.
Yeah, so the defense is there, I think, with this team. We just gotta it's that consistency with the offense to see if they can pull through. But
I think it's a good sign though when you see Carson go 5-19, and I know we didn't win by 22 points, but at one point we had a 21-point lead, and Carson had like 3 points, and I was just like, how are we winning this game?
Yeah, that's just a weird college basketball thing, though.
Oh, it is because Michigan State was ice cold there in the first half.
Right.
Like Winston, they made up for the second half because Winston got real hot there out of nowhere.
I mean, he did drop 23.
Yeah, it was a quiet 23. It was he did that 6-minute stretch where he was pulling up from pretty behind the arc covered, and he was making them.
And then Boilers went 43% from 3-point range. As always, that's a big part of their game. So, all right, let's move on to the segments. Ryan, do you have picks?
Hell yeah, I got picks. Do I got picks?
All right, before we get to Ryan's picks, log on to mybookie.com, use promo code YEAR25 to follow all of our picks. And when you use promo code YEAR25, what do you get, Peter?
I think you get $1,000 free if I recall correctly.
They just give you $1,000. You log on to mybookie.com. Okay, you type in all your information. Then you got to send off like in the mail. And once they get your postcard, then they will load your account. All you got to do is send them your mother's maiden name, your social security number, and all the basic info that you use when you log on to a gambling website. And they just load up $1,000 free dollars into your account. I mean, you'd be dumb not to do it, folks. So log on to mybookie.com, use your promo code YEAR25, have all your personal information ready to input so that you can get your free money. All right, Rye, what's up?
What's up? Yeah, tomorrow, only 3 games with ranked teams, but they're all not even ranked. There's 3 games with Power 5 conferences. Should be some decent games. We got Duke at Notre Dame. Duke's a 14.5-point favorite. I think Mike Bray is actually one of the few Coach K assistants who does decent against them, but Notre Dame is not great this year, and that loss is looking worse and worse. Duke, 14.5 in South Bend. What do you like?
Who's up? Me?
That's you. You're Steve.
As always. You got to go with Duke. I've watched them play a couple times because they're always on TV. The only game they really laid an egg against was Syracuse, and that's because Syracuse, I think, plays that weird defense. So I don't think Notre Dame's that special of a team, so I'm going with Duke.
Peter.
I'm going with Duke too. Notre Dame's looked bad, and Duke's I think they're gonna go all the way this year.
I'm gonna go Indy. I think Indy could, get up a little bit for a home game. I think Mike Brey knows a little bit what Coach K does, and I think they could just keep it within 14.5.
You think there's a lot of basketball coaches out there that don't know about Coach K on the college level?
I meant more like he was assisted with them. He kind of knows the scheme better than most.
Like they play Duke and they're like, oh shit.
I'm talking myself into it, Steve. Talking myself into it to be different.
I like it.
Chris.
Yeah, I mean, you got to go Duke here. Notre Dame, was it yesterday or today that they just fucking blew, and they're just not a good team. That's probably one of the worst losses Purdue has this year. So
it is easily the worst loss they have this year, according to the net.
All right, so Duke is going to cover.
Cool. We have TCU at Texas Tech. I think TCU's 3-3 conference play and Texas Tech's 4-3. Pretty sure the Big 12 is just a crapshoot from spots like 1 through 8. They're all like 5-2, 4-2, like 3-4. Like it's all just bunched together. So big game in the Big 12. TCU at Texas Tech. They're getting Texas Tech 4.5 points. Peter.
Texas Tech. Good old Texas basketball.
Peter, can you name one player in Texas Tech?
No.
I'm also going to Texas Tech. They've lost, I think, like 3 or 4 games down the stretch recently, but it's a home game. They have Jarrett Culver, who'll be a lottery pick. Peter Jarrett Culver. But
you got one more than me.
Raiders can get it done at home. Chris.
Yeah, I think Texas Tech is probably one of the best defenses in the country right now. So I think they'll be able to shut down TCU, who doesn't have such a good offense. So Texas Tech.
You just making those things up as you go?
Nope, that's true. You can look it up.
Okay. Dave.
I guess I'm going to go with TCU.
Cool.
Go Frogs.
Go Horned Frogs.
Yeah, this would be a better football game than it would be a basketball game.
Would be. And then Baylor and Oklahoma, both Big 12 teams that are, like I said, both fighting for a bubble. Baylor's been actually a lot better than expected. They started off really shitty. Now they're like 4-2 in conference play. Oklahoma, exact opposite. They started off like 15-2, and now they've dropped down to 3-4 in conference play. So it's at Oklahoma. Oklahoma 6.5. I'm going with Baylor. Go Bears. Chris.
I'm going to go Oklahoma. That's about enough.
Dave.
The only thing I know about Baylor was one year they were a 2 seed, and I picked them to go very far in the tournament. They lost to somebody in the first round. So I have to imagine they have all the same players as that team, and they stink, so I'm going with Oklahoma.
So the game was like a 3 seed and lost to Yale, and they asked how they rebound them, and he was like, they did more of these than we did. It was just like him grabbing a ball.
Yep, that was that game. That was the same year that Mizzou lost to North Dakota, too.
Fun fact, that player that torched them that year is now on Baylor.
Oh, interesting.
How the turntables.
Makai Mason transferred to Baylor. Apparently, he dropped 30 on him. And Scott
From
Drew was
Yale?
That's when they were 3 seed and lost on the rebounding game.
Wait, somebody transferred from Yale to Baylor?
Yeah, and he got transferred.
I guess he hopes he's going pro.
Well, I don't like that kid's decision making. So.
Yeah, it seems like a bad life decision.
Yeah.
In all honesty.
Peter.
Do we know if Baylor is wearing the bright neon uniforms?
You got to
no
assume
idea
so.
what they're wearing.
You got to assume they are.
Because if they are, then you got to go with Baylor. So we're gonna say yes, they are wearing them. So Baylor's gonna win this one.
There we go. There's your picks for the week.
All right, Pete, you got a stat or a no-show watch for us?
I do have a stat. So the 2 games against Michigan State this year, Carson's combined field goal percentage is below 20%, and those are 2 of the 3 worst shooting games he's had in his career.
Did I just say he's like 9 of 33?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, it's like these are like the worst games he's ever played are against Michigan State this season.
Okay, thanks, Pete.
There you go.
Internet comment of the week goes to Tom Izzo in his press conference that Michigan State needed diapers, or his freshmen needed diapers to play in Mackey Arena, just because that is one of those quotes that just will fuel the paint crew and all these Purdue people into Mackey Arena is the toughest environment in the country, yada, 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 yada. I mean, Mackey Arena's loud, right? It was loud in there today, right?
I've been to like 4 or 5 college stadiums, and Mackey is definitely one of the loudest. It's not one of the greatest venues. It's sort of like history and like how cool it looks, but it definitely is incredibly loud. But yeah, no, that's something Purdue fans love to hang their hat on.
Oh yeah, even if they lose, it's Mackey Arena was, the environment was
rocking.
We lost like Wisconsin last year, and then the coach was like, "That's the loudest venue ever played in," and like that was a win for us.
Ohio State.
Yeah, it's Ohio State, and that was a win for us because how loud it was.
Yeah, that's all you need. That's all you need. All right, do we have a loser segment or any?
Pete and Chris tied the last one.
Oh.
So,
all right,
flip a coin, boys.
Well, all right, who wants to flip a coin?
Or do something.
You think I got coins?
I can tell you.
Can't have one of us.
Back when you dipped, Steve, we could flip the dip can.
The dip can, yeah. I don't do that anymore.
All right. Well, here's something that's been fun on Twitter. What would your job be if it was up to your 5-year-old self?
Ooh, man.
Yeah.
I know I would
job
be. Is this what you wanted to be when you were 5?
Yeah, I guess. What did you want to be when you were 5?
This is a typical Ryan Heyer answer, but when I was 5, I thought it'd be really, really cool to work at a gas station because they had all that candy. I always wanted to work at a gas station.
You get candy whenever you want, not at a candy factory.
I'm dead serious. No, gas station. There could be a Wendy's inside of it too. I can give some chicken nuggets. But that was like a cool dream of mine. I wasn't an astronaut or president. It was working at the BP across the street from me that at Wendy's.
That's pretty good. I don't know. I mean, mine would probably just be like firefighter or something like that. That's pretty good, Rye.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
Chris, what is yours? You brought it up.
Oh, yeah. You act like all right. I wanted to be a pilot, but I'm colorblind, so that kind of failed right out of the gate. It's like,
I didn't know that till I was like 14, though. You realized that when you were 5? Man.
Yeah.
It's crushing.
I know, it is crushing. That was my whole life was planned for that. But
your whole 5 years
from 5 years old, from 1 to 5. That's what I was. I went as a pilot. My cousin got me a jumpsuit because he was in the Navy, and he had me dress up in his jumpsuit at his wedding. And so I was 5 years old when I did that. I still have it. Pretty sad, right?
Yeah.
All right, what else do we got here?
What else is on Twitter? It's going to be cold.
Myers hiring new people to drive the van or the.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, has anyone applied, Ryan?
You need a college degree to do that.
Well, good thing for us is we all have them.
We all have college degrees from Harvard of the Midwest.
Apparently,
the Harvard of
what was the Harvard of the Midwest comment that somebody posted this week?
Somebody like was like, "Oh, proud to have an offer from Purdue." It's like, yeah, you should. It's like the Harvard of the Midwest.
Oh, some guy named Mayan Williams. Excited to receive another offer from Purdue at Boiler Football at Jeff Brom at Coach Jackson, and then our boy Boiler Grad, man. Boiler Grad always comes through with the choice takes. He goes, "That's not just any offer. That's an offer from one of the best institutions in the nation, Ivy League of the Midwest."
Oh, that's good. That's good fun.
Yep, because Purdue is definitely harder to get into than Michigan, Northwestern, Chicago, Wisconsin, Ohio State, Notre Dame, Butler, Case Western. You know, I mean,
Yeah,
it's
Washington, St. Louis, like
right,
yeah.
right. Yeah, it's Harvard of the Midwest. I mean, that's what it is. Oh, and a quick shout out while we're in the internet comments. My phone is frozen.
Shouting out Ian Bollock.
Yeah, we're shouting out our man Ian Bollock. I don't know who Ian was talking to on Twitter, but our guy Ian
Apple
Bollock.
Podcasts.
Yes,
At Ian Bollock. Oh yeah, Apple Podcast said, "What are your top 3 favorite podcasts?" This had 6,000 replies to it. Ian, he threw out Pardon My Take, KFC Radio. Okay, he's a Barstool guy. Those are pretty popular podcasts. And then your boy Ian comes through with the Rebuilding YR, man. Top 3 podcasts for Ian.
This could be our breakout moment. I don't know.
It could be. It could be. How many followers does Ian have?
Ian, spread the good word. Let everybody know.
Yeah, Ian. 237 followers. All right, buddy.
237 new
237 listeners. Yeah.
Well,
We've
only if
tested this.
they also followed Apple Podcasts.
Oh, true. Yeah,
because you can't see replies.
Damn
But
Twitter.
Ian, if you're listening, shoot us a DM. We'll Venmo you our customary $1 for listening to the podcast. That's such a good business model that we pay people.
Has
listen.
anyone DM'd you though?
No,
You guys need to take them up on this offer.
you gotta spend money to make money, baby.
It's free money, guys. Just
It's literally, I will literally Venmo you $1. All you have to do is reach out to me. That's
I mean, we're also giving you free money with our picks.
oh,
That
with
is true.
with promo code year25 on mybookie.com.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, we're just doing you a service. We're here working for you.
MyBookie. What's a good one for that? Mybookie.com. Instead, it's my. Ooh.
Nookie? No.
Yeah, mynookie.com. It's just a website
Good.
about masturbating. Guynookie.com, and it's a gay sex website.
There we go.
We got it. Okay. That was the Rebuilding Your Podcast, Season 4, Episode 18. Follow us on Twitter at The Rebuilding YR. You can follow Peter on Twitter at Peter_Mick. You can follow Ryan on Twitter at Ryan M. Higher. And you can follow Chris on Twitter at Boston Boiler. Oh, and me at Steve Greco01. Without anything else, Boilers by 90, and wait till next year.
Hey guys, these are probably all of our